Good afternoon and welcome to the Federal Executive Forum celebrating 18 years of profiling excellence in government IT mission programs. I'm Luke McCormick. During today's show, we will discuss best practices with data center and cloud optimization strategies in the federal government. With me on today's show are Tom Santucci, Director, Data Center and Cloud Optimization Initiative PMO at GSA. Bill Hunt, Assistant Director, Cloud Center of Excellence, Security and Exchange Commission. Dr. Mark Lucas, Director of Cloud Computing Operations, Department of Homeland Security. Zach Goldstein, Chief Information Officer at NOAA. Michelle Rudnicki, Vice President, NetApp's U.S. Public Sector. Nick Saki, Principal Technologist, U.S. Federal Pure Storage. And Lamont Copeland, Managing Director, Federal Solutions Architect at Verizon Business. Well, this continues to be a super important subject. We've got a great mix of folks on the panel today, representing a lot of different agencies and partners. Tom, I want to start with you by congratulating GSA and applauding you for the leadership of your organization, the playbooks, the summits, the cross-pollination that you continue to have across the community. Give us a top line of where things stand from your perspective.
Okay, thanks for that intro, Luke. You know, in October, the federal government data center optimization initiative sunset after the agencies received an A on the FITARA scorecard for DCOI. This was a huge success that Congress and the CFO Act agencies celebrated. We've closed thousands of data centers, tiered and non-tiered, and saved the taxpayer nearly $6.4 billion in cost savings over the past decade on data centers. Even without a formal policy, this doesn't mean data center and cloud optimization is over in the federal government. In fact, our team is continuing to work with agencies on exploring government challenges, securing and managing its growing amount of data in hybrid environments. And sustainability and ways to using metrics to track federally owned buildings using sustainable outcomes is still a thing. And examine the amount of the greenhouse gas emission reduction using a more sustainable environment such as cloud or data center colo.
A lot of various activities there, and we really do appreciate, again, all the leadership that's happening across the ecosystem based on the guidance coming from GSA. Bill, you are in a what I like to call a small but mighty entity over there, and I know you all are doing a lot of interesting things. Give us a top line as to where you all are on your journey in regards to cloud activities, et cetera.
Sure. Well, I mean, as you mentioned, the SEC is a little bit of a special agency. We are a small agency. We are not subject to FITARA. We're not one of the CFO Act Big 24, but we are still a pretty relatively big agency of about 8,000 people, right? So we're about 3 times bigger than the Small Business Administration, which is actually a cabinet agency and a CFO Act agency, a so-called large. So that presents interesting.
Fun factoid.
Yeah. So that's the previous agency I'm coming over from by comparison. So understanding the difference in size and how that can change how your approach to cloud looks. I'll say overall, I've been at a bunch of federal agencies. I think y'all know. I was over at OMB overseeing the cloud program for the federal government as cloud policy lead for a few years. And the adoption of cloud has really ramped up very, very quickly as a result, I'd say, of the pandemic more than anything else. The use of collaboration tools, the use of all of these wonderful video chat features that we're all using right now, all of this sort of thing. We really went from a stance where we were a little gun shy about how we were moving into the cloud to everybody just going full tilt into it because we had to. That's how we were going to work and collaborate directly. So that's been, you know, the pandemic has been horrific and terrible, but as far as federal cloud adoption, it's really spearheaded that effort. I'll say in no small part to having TIC 3 come out just like 4 months before the pandemic hit. That was a key policy change that enabled a lot of these things that we're seeing right now. As far as the SEC goes, you know, we've rapidly been moving towards the cloud. We've had some stumbles over the years trying to figure out our path in the cloud. And we recently stood up a brand new cloud team focused solely on getting us where we want to go. And that's been relatively successful over the last 18 months in moving us ahead. Specifically, we've only moved about 10% of our on-prem apps over, but at this point, we've gotten our time to delivery from months down to days and weeks. That has been a major change for us. Security review takes days, not months now, for apps moving into the cloud environment. We're just getting those new increased capabilities very, very quickly. We're getting better security. We're getting better delivery time. All of those wonderful benefits that come with cloud as a result of making these sorts of investments.
Yeah, the community went from, is it secure to go into the cloud? Is it secure to not go into the cloud? Then we went to, of course we're in the cloud. So it's a journey for the entire ecosystem, and I'm glad to hear about the increased velocity over there at SEC. Dr. Lucas, I know we're going from a small and mighty entity to a very large entity, and I know you all have had a tremendous amount of activity going on over there. Give us a top line as to the state of the state these days in regards to the cloud initiatives at DHS.
Good afternoon, Luke. Good afternoon, everyone. So as the public's already aware, we moved out of our previous Tier 3 data center in Southern Virginia some time ago, where the majority of our systems were migrated to the cloud or they were decommissioned, which is a major achievement for the department. Simultaneously, we awarded the data center and cloud optimization contract that serves as a foundation for the management and integration of what we're calling the hybrid compute environment, which includes our on-premises environments, co-location facilities, and cloud-based environments. Some of the key components, Luke, of the award I'd like to highlight on this call, and a result of identifying the need to enhance our management of the HCE, include improved total cost of ownership and cost transparency. We integrated and established the dashboard that's now providing near real-time cost transparency and visibility to components using the HCE that's provided by the contract. And we've increased the flexibility around modernization and optimization of our HCE, having expanded our infrastructure and availability to include the use of co-location facilities and the use of solutions like Office 365, supporting distributed processing, direct connection with the cloud service providers. We've improved bandwidth utilization and the logical availability of solutions in different locations. Second, in the area of cloud operations, Luke, we've been very successful in establishing a modern, robust, and efficient enterprise cloud operation team consisting of the major cloud subject matter expertise that the industry is using. Some of those examples are DevSecOps engineers, cloud engineers, scrum masters, and the like, that the industry is simultaneously using for productive management of workloads in major CSP environments. As a result of all that, we've improved automation, efficiency, security, and management of workloads for critical and sensitive systems and hundreds of assets in the cloud, which includes enterprise patch management for changes and security remediation. We've also implemented solutions and automation for support and remediation of cloud incident trouble tickets for our systems. And we've especially improved cybersecurity and visibility into our cloud environments by implementing automated cloud-based notification feeds and dashboards for our network operations security center for improved response and visibility into our cloud environments. And finally, in the area of cloud computing services, Luke, we've been working hard on improving the customer experience, the tenants using our cloud-based services by creating a centralized portal for our customers that abstracts the complexity of managing our cloud environments while simultaneously providing the details needed for migration, cost management, and services in the environments hosting critical applications. Those are just some of the areas that I like to highlight on this call, and the tremendous work of the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security that are providing vital services to the American public.
Very impressive. Quickly went from lift and shift to really maturing that environment in regards to the consumption and being able to go at the speed of mission, so to speak, and have that customer experience, we'll call it, in regards to consumption of the services, et cetera. So appreciate all the work that all the men and women are doing at DHS to keep the country safe and do it via these cloud services in some cases. Zach, speaking of cloud services and big compute, et cetera, you all have been on this journey for quite some time, have been leveraging this capability for years, way before big data, et cetera, were even a household name.
Right.
Give us a top line state of the state as to where NOAA is in the utilization of these capabilities.
Well, cloud services in NOAA right now are ubiquitous. We have high performance computing in the cloud. We have a special arrangement that we used to call big data program, but now we call it no open data dissemination, where for effectively no cost, we disseminate enormous amounts of information to the public and to industry to build on our data in the cloud. And we also have a general cloud utility contract where folks can get to any of the major cloud vendors, and we do. We use Google, we use Microsoft, we use Amazon, depending upon the program, depending upon the need. I'm really excited to be here today because I get to share the stage with not only amazing cloud practitioners and forward thinkers who are doing our level best to improve service to the taxpayer at lower cost with greater security, but I get to share the place with GSA, who we copied 12 years ago to go to the cloud. GSA was the first federal agency to, at least as far as I know, first federal agency to put email collaboration, calendaring in the cloud. And before there was a FedRAMP, we took their accreditation package, made our own risk assessment, and did the same thing. And at the time we did it 12 years ago, we were the largest, because I think we have more users than GSA does, at least at the time. So it's a great place to be. It's been a long journey. Most recently, we've moved our voice services into the cloud, replacing voice over IP and PBX. We moved to Google Voice. We have put almost all of our web presence behind content cloud distribution networks, and also in the cloud, which has been an amazing technology in terms of handling workloads that could be 1 billion or more hits a day when you have a hurricane approaching the East Coast of the United States, for example. And we've also this year established a cloud program office, which seems like something you might have done earlier, but we've been too busy moving to the cloud. And now we will be able to organize with a focus on customer experience, a focus on metrics, making sure that we're moving to the cloud as rapidly and as sensibly as one can, and organizing the services we provide. So in a way, NOAA is sort of like a department. We're not a cabinet level department, obviously. We're a bureau level organization inside the Department of Commerce. But we have organizations that used to be bureaus. The Weather Bureau is now the Weather Service, Satellite Bureau, Satellite Service, Fisheries Bureau, and so on. So it was very important to us to allow folks to move as quickly and safely as possible, but do it efficiently. So we weren't controlling or stopping the movement, but we were supporting them through enterprise-based networking, very fast pipes to have peering at key cloud peering points, security, review a package once, used across the entire bureau, acquisition, 3 big contracts, as I indicated earlier, authentication, identity, credential access management, same authentication across the board, architecture services, and in the program management office, not only to ensure customer experience, but to take advantage of the once in a generation opportunity you have when you go to the cloud, to take a look at what you're doing in IT itself. Why move something? You mentioned lift and shift earlier, Luke. Why move it at all if you can get rid of it? So optimize IT along the way and make sure that we're seizing the opportunity, because it won't come again for a while.
A tremendous amount of activity going on over there. We really do appreciate all the data that NOAA, and very important data that NOAA is serving up to the public to allow them reuse in a variety of third-party applications. Michelle, we can't do all this unless we have extensive partnering with very comprehensive companies such as yours. that enable all these great things to happen. Give us sort of a state of the state from where NetApp stands in regards to the various activities going on across the public sector.
Sure thing, Luke. And thank you to all the federal agencies for all the work that's been done. You know, we think about cloud as a journey, and it's like we've come through the first leg, but optimization's not over, and we have the opportunity to continue moving along this journey. So great work. When we look at what's going on and you know, the optimizations, I bucket it into 3 categories that we see where we're doing work with the agencies. First is on savings. The second is on simplification, right? We've come through and we've talked about, you know, going to the cloud, but as people have rapidly adopted all these services, right? It's a big, wide, heterogeneous environment that's gotten more complicated, and we need to simplify. And the third is around security. So on savings, it's, you know, some of the projects that we see are things like tiering, you know, like taking from your data center and tiering your data, making sure that you're using the most cost optimized approach, right? Whether that's on-prem or in the cloud, maybe for your cold storage. Backup, using cloud for backup is one of the areas that we still see a lot of agencies needing to move and take advantage of the cloud to offload some of the work and some of the things that were being done on site. And then the third area on savings is really in this, as people have moved to the cloud, is what are we doing relative to cloud optimizations? And we have tools like Cloud Checker that help people manage their financial spend, so they get visibility and transparency heterogeneously across all of their different cloud environments. Simplification, we know that we need more and more tools that are heterogeneous, that take advantage of both on-prem and in the cloud environment. NetApp took the approach that we partner greatly with the major hyperscalers. So we're the only enterprise storage operating system that's offered by Microsoft, Google, and AWS as a first-party service. And what that helps with is skills, right? We can't keep skilling up for different types of environment everywhere. How do you take the skills that you've developed over the years on-prem and use those in the cloud? Simplifications of tools like our Cloud Insights, which help people look across their storage and their compute environments and figure out what's going on, and also monitor for security anomalies that are going on. And BlueXP, we just released this as a management platform, a single plane that you can do both on-prem and in the cloud, right? So that's some of the areas that we're looking at. And then along the way is making sure that security is built in. We're using zero trust approaches to build our products so that as they get adopted into the infrastructures of the agencies, that things are there. Things like we've done the NSA CSFC testing to make sure that everything that we're delivering to our customers is as easy to consume for them and build in everything that they need, right? Whether it's the executive orders that are coming down on them or, you know, it's like, we know these are the things that we need to do to protect our environments and to, you know, to protect the mission. So that's just a few highlights from my perspective.
Really do appreciate that, and appreciate all the activity that's going on to create the ease of use, if you will. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Federal Executive Forum on Federal News Network.